giving you something that is not a true reflection of the average of the class. And so the lecturer also has a problem.
You made some good points there. One thing I was thinking about is where does ethics come in? Because we've discussed the economic challenges, anything that can impact on a student and make them do what they have to do, family pressures, it's example of coming all the way from somewhere, time issues. But where does ethics come in? Because as a student, you're bound by a certain code of ethics not to do the wrong thing. So how do you think ethics impacts on academic dishonesty? I'll come to you on that, Jalani, because obviously as lecturers, as academics, we're bound by our own code of doing the right thing. But what about students? Is it that there's no responsibility on you to think beyond, okay, fine, I have these challenges, but either way, I'm going to make sure that I do the right thing, irrespective of what's happening? What about the principle of things, Jalani?
They're expecting that you perform in a certain way because of the output you give in their lectures. They don't really see you as someone who is perfectly perfect. There's no perfect student, but at least you make the effort. So I think it's the effort that counts. And if lecturers get to understand that, okay, this student is making the effort to write something. So there are lecturers that tell us, when you get to an exam and you don't know anything about it, sit, think, at least write something. There are lectures that there's a definition, you don't remember the definition, but then you remember a formula, something about it. I'm an engineering student, so definitely we do work a lot with formulas. Sometimes you don't remember the definition, but then you remember the formula or how to derive it, or even something about it. You could even just give an example and you could get a mark for it than getting nothing at all. So when it comes to ethics, I think you have to make the effort. You know the right thing to do, but then when you get there, then you feel like I'm in this situation. First thing to think of is the solution. What can I do to help myself without including anybody else around me? And that's what counts, because come to think of it, the person you're asking, how should I know that the person's answer is the right thing? That's one thing about dishonesty, academic dishonesty. You're asking for answers in the example, because the person could also not know that the person's writing from his or her thoughts, and you can't write the same thoughts. When you even tell students a particular sentence, let's say Kofi went to the market to buy mangoes and blah 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 happened, and you tell an entire story. When you're asking students to retell the story, everybody's going to see something different, not exactly the same. Some may have similar answers, but then there's not always the same. So even if you're writing someone else's thoughts, how are you going to polish that and make it yours? You may end up deviating. And then that's where back in primary say, oh, I wrote the same thing as Kofi wrote, but then said you gave me wrong, I gave Kofi correct.
The feeling happens here.
Yes.
What do you think? So I think I agree with her on the fact that it boils down to the student's efforts, because when you think about exams, you are supposed to do the right thing. So if you make the effort to study at least, and then you participate in class, you do your assignments next semester, and all that, the student lecturer will see that although this person actually made an effort. And sometimes I think lecturers talk to students when they see that some things are not going right. They ask them, "Were this good? What happened?" When you're able to explain yourself, I think sometimes I hear people saying the university is an awarding institution. It's not always what is on your paper that you get the marks for. So if you put in the effort and you know that it is expected of me to just produce what I have in my head. I mean, for me, when I enter the exam hall, it's like everyone is looking up to me because I was also a class rep.
That's another thing as well.
So they look up to you and they say, no, there's no way this lady doesn't know the answer to this. So all around me, they are expecting me to give them answers. So what happens to me then? I also don't know. So what do? I have to think of ways to form the thing and then make it reasonable to the lecturer. You can't say you don't know anything at all. And there are some students too who really don't know anything at all. So that one, if they want to go by ethics, That's when you get the blank papers. Because I know lectures,
Yeah.
you get blank papers.
But do you think students understand the ramifications of do you understand, the ramifications of being academically dishonest? Do you think they understand how serious it is? Because in a lot of countries, if you plagiarize,
No.
lawsuits, all sorts of serious ramifications. So do you think in our local Ghanaian context, students really understand how serious this issue is? So quick thoughts on that.
No, you see, I keep on saying no, no, no.
Yeah.
Because one, we don't know the level of impact it causes.
Yeah.
You were talking about ethics. I
Yeah.
would come on that, but I just want to answer the ramification aspect. Let's take it in bits so that we understand the magnitude of
Yeah.
the problem. Once you become academically dishonest, even the lecturer doesn't know who you are because he knows you in class. As Clinton can talk a lot, yes, he can answer so many questions. Now we have people that in class they are very good, they are affable, but when it comes to exams, they are not able to reciprocate everything that they did in class on the paper. So the problem is, did he learn or he did not? So if you truly learned and you bring out every single thing you learned and it's exactly what is in your head that is put on the paper, the teacher is now going to assess the problem and see whether it has to do with you having low memory, or it has to do with maybe his teaching ability or his methodology of teaching that is the problem. You understand? And he's going to do it averagely. Now the problem is if you guys give him fake data, garbage in, garbage out. So the lecturer is now going to have something that is not a true reflection of the average of students, which gives the lecturer a problem. It's also going to give the school a problem because if you have too many plagiarized works, the quality of the school comes down because of paper writing. You understand? So the school cannot publish quite a lot of papers because most of the papers that they are publishing has quite a lot of plagiarism content. Now, it also has an impact on the companies that you are going to be working for because they think that they are teaching you quite a lot in the school.
Yeah.
And you come out and you realize that empty heads. So GT, for example, is known for our technology aspect. We know that anybody that goes to Ghana Telecom, that's called Ghana Telecom or Ghana Communication Technology now, is good in IT, is good in engineering. Here lies the case, there's nothing to write home about. So it keeps on adding up and it gives a lot of problems to even the society at large. That's why it's a big problem, but we just see it as it's nothing at all.
Okay, quick thoughts, Johnny. What do you think?
It's not easy at all. It's not because students are always trying to be smart. They're always trying to find a way to do what they want us to do. But the strategies also has to do with the teaching or the lecturing. I think there's a difference between you are in the university to be lectured, not to be taught.
So,
You have to study the lecture and teach yourself.
in a way, yes.
Some lecturers mix lecturing with teaching, and in that way, students who are average or low in class get it. I mean, we meet them somewhere because at least you are teaching, but then lecturing, as is supposed to be in the university, the lecturer just comes and is rambling or reads slides, tries to explain, and gives class. That's what the lecturer is being paid to do. Actually, lecturers are being paid to teach. Sorry. So when you look at it, I think it comes from the basics, the fundamental.
Yeah.
I always people see me. Oh, you're so fluent. You're this. You're that. And I always think my foundation was from kindergarten, primary, that they instill these
That's
things
very important.
into
Foundation.
yes, in kids. So even as you're growing and you fall, the fall is not as great as someone who didn't have that foundation. So you easily get to like grab yourself and come up again. Even if you don't get completely up, at least you are in the middle somewhere close to the top, and that helps. So I think the foundation, kindergarten, primary, junior high, and senior high school especially,
Is important.
because we come to lectures and some lecturers ask, oh, what school are you from? I'm from here, I'm from here. They expect that based on the school you went to, you have this amount of knowledge to build on the course. But then here lies the case, everybody's not from the same school.
That's true. Different. Yeah.
Everybody's not from the
Totally different.
Yes. So you can't use that to
That's a
lecture
benchmark.
or teach students because you can't tell them, and you're supposed to know this already. How come you don't know? It becomes a whole challenge because the students are also thinking, I'm okay, I've paid my fees, although I've learned before. I might have forgotten, but that's why I'm here. So please carry on, teach me.
Manuela, what do you think?
The point you mentioned on the, I think that had to do with the students' ability to understand the course. If you are doing engineering, your maths is not good from day one. I'm an example, but I found my way to go through the system. If you are not good at it, you are not good at it. And so that is when we find them still in the exams hall, going through this dishonesty we are talking about. Because there's nothing you can do about it. He has tried. Some genuinely, they try to study, and it still doesn't work. Maybe that would be another topic.
I think so. That's something else we need to look at. Yeah. So to wrap up, we've looked at the current challenges. What do you think is the way forward? So a quick one sentence answer that Manuela started here.
So simply put, I would say we just have to strategize our activity. The students should do their part. And when they look at the way the lecturers teach or the lecture, it's not going their way. They should find a way to just go about it because no matter what you do, academic dishonesty is not acceptable. Yeah.
Johnny?
Well, practice, persevere, and then you have to pray. At times you learn, and as I said, you get to the exam hall and you forget it. You have to just pray. It doesn't sound practical, but then at times it does help because that's the only way out. You need to try and remember. You need to stay calm. You have to be composed. Try and find new methods, as she said, strategize. You have to adjust because at the end of the day, fellow students, it's all as because when you fail, you have to now come and pay again and write it.
That's true. That's true.
And just do it once and for all. That's what my mom always says. When you're doing something, do your best once and for all. Just be done with it.
Quentin, last word.
I think the main thing I'll say is just be true to yourself. And for the lecturers, the fact that we are being true to ourselves means you also have to be true to the student. Because I can't come and open up my nakedness to you and then you punish me for it.
It's interesting.
A lot of people try to at least let the lecturer know that, look, I don't understand this and this is what I understand. And people make you feel down. You don't want to feel down. You want to feel that this is my true self I've given to you. This is me. You understand? Take me as who I am. And then, so if you do that, the student can also let you know that this is me. He will write everything as a reflection of what he has learned. We don't want to feel down. We are able to handle the emotional pressure that comes with it. I think we'll be okay. Yeah.
All right, everyone. So that's a wrap for today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Academia Talk TV. We're on Instagram and TikTok. So don't forget to comment, like, and share. This is Academia Talk TV. See you again next week. Bye.